the matter of Farkas versus Bull. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, ma'am.
Mr. Farkas, if you tell me the story in as interesting a manner as you wrote it in your papers, it's going to be a fun morning. So, relax and tell me your story.
Well, I was traveling westbound on Sunset Boulevard heading towards Highland. I get to the corner of Highland with a plan to make a right turn. I'm in the far right lane. The light changes. I move forward a foot or a yard. All of a sudden, bam! Mr. Bull over here smashes me from the middle lane of Sunset because he's decided to make a right turn onto Highland. So we pull into a strip center right nearby, and I'm reaching for my documents. I'm just trying to compose myself, and he saunters over to my window, and in his way, "Oh, I'm so sorry I did this. This is terrible. I had my mind on other things, and I'm getting a divorce." I'm saying, "Please, I don't want to know. Just let's go with the license and registration." So I look at his license.
Divorce? I just got married, so I can't be getting a divorce.
I'm going to get to you in a second.
I read his license. Dwayne Xavier Bull. License expires in '95. Do you have insurance? No, this I don't have. I look at his license plates, New Mexico license plates. So what are we going to do? He says, "I just want to pay for it. Why don't you just take it over to a... So I asked him, what beseeched you? What possessed you to make this turn? He says, "I saw my boyfriend on Highland Avenue with another man, and I got so upset." I said, "I'm not interested. What are you going to do?" He says, "I'm going to pay." He says, "I'm going to pay for it." I tell him, "I'm going to go right now to get an estimate, and I'm going to bring it to you, and you'll pay for it, and we'll forget the whole thing." Now, the man, can I show this to the judge, please?
Yes.
The day, exactly at the incident, I wouldn't leave the scene without him signing this. It clearly says, Dwayne Xavier Bull agrees to pay me. He caused the accident. Fine, so he does it. So what happens next? I call him and call him and call him. No answer. He gives me his pager. His salon is on Sunset. Following morning, I walk into his place of business. I walk in, and this young lady takes over. Divorce, marriage, the French woman, I don't know, but she starts. "Excuse me, I will handle this. Dwayne has no money." Well, that's good. That's good. What are we going to do? "But we want to fix your car, so we want you to take your car to Vahe."
To who?
Vahe.
Vahe.
So Vahe, the Armenian auto body repair. It's right. There's more documents to establish it. I pick up the telephone. I say, "I'm not leaving here till I speak to Vahe," so it's perfectly clear that Vahe fixes my car. He pays for it, and I go home. I call up Vahe. And I say, "Vahe, do we understand each other? Dwayne Xavier Bull, I'm going to bring my car to Jenemsveld in the valley somewhere, and you should only know where, I don't know where it is. You have to take a cow to get there. So, Vahe, do we understand each other? You're going to fix the car, and Dwayne Xavier Bull is going to pay for it." He says, "No problem. We know Dwayne. You bring your car. You'll be very happy." Following morning, my wife and kid in tow with the Camry behind us, we're trucking out to no man's land. Oh, excuse me. Here's the document that says that he agrees to pay Varaz Auto Repair when I bring the car to him.
Okay.
Dwayne, can you give me a chance?
Mr. Bull, I'm going to let you tell the defendant's side of the story as soon as he's finished, okay? Go ahead.
So I get to Varaz. Vahe's a very nice guy. He says, "Leave the car, no problem." On my way home, I'm telling my wife, there's no shot in the world that this problem is over. Sure enough, like clockwork, Vahe's boss calls me. "Bob the Armenian." "Bob, we have a problem." "Of course we have a problem. Dwayne Bull didn't come to pay for the car." "Right." He says, "We agreed that he would just pay for the parts, and we'll give him time on the labor." The man doesn't come. So I start calling him. Vahe's calling him. Bob is calling him. The man doesn't return calls. Finally, he threatens me on the telephone. I called West Hollywood Police. He says to me, "If you call me and harass me anymore, I'll have people beat you up." I call West Hollywood Police, but they're busy with seatbelts. They can't handle this.
How long are you in California, sir?
Not long.
How long were you in California at the time of this accident?
Unfortunately, only about 60 or 90 days, and although it's not relevant to the case, 45 days before this incident, I move into a house on April 4th, and the following day I wake up in the morning and the house is on fire. I'm carrying my baby out in the fire at 2 o'clock in the morning. And if I make, oh yes, we heard it enough. Well, here's an official document from the fire department establishing that happened. I know it's not relevant. I'm sorry.
It has nothing to do with the case.
Okay, so did you get your car?
I actually paid for it yesterday for a full month. I mean, this man wreaked havoc on my life.
How much was the...
$1,800.
It was 19 at first.
Excuse me.
You want to pay 19?
Excuse me. The day I came to him in his salon, I showed him the first estimate that I told him I would get was for 18 and change. Varaz, his own people, estimated at 1,800. And that's what I paid for it. And
$1,800.
$1,800. So this is his own people. This is Vahez' estimate.
Okay, Mr. Bull, you've been anxious to tell me your side of the story. Now I'm prepared to hear you, sir.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Mr. Farkas' car. He agreed to pay for the repair. He never came by to pay for it.
Paper.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Dwayne Bull, a Hollywood hair and makeup specialist, says his collision with actor Peter Farkas on Sunset Boulevard was Farkas's fault, and he shouldn't have to pay for the damage.
Now I'm prepared to hear you, sir.
Okay, Your Honor, the way I see it is, yes, he is correct. I was traveling west on Sunset Boulevard.
Stop playing with the papers. Talk to me.
Okay, I was just looking for a little document I wanted to show you as an exhibit. Okay, here it is. I was traveling west. Could you pass this to her, please? I was traveling west on Sunset Boulevard. Now, he was in the far right-hand turning lane, and it was 5 o'clock traffic. I truly believe that he was in that lane because on Sunset Boulevard, people get in that lane to speed to go fast. Your Honor, the way I was hit on the way my car personally was hit, if you look at the estimate, it was hit on my right side front door. Okay, so what I did was I put a signal to turn right. I think he was in this lane to go forward because he was not in our sight, nor did he have a signal.
So you weren't
He hit my car.
You weren't in the far right lane, correct?
No, I wasn't.
Not.
I signaled to go.
You were not in the far right lane. You were in the center lane.
Yes. No, the lane next to the far right lane.
But he was in the far right lane.
Yes, right. Exactly.
So you went to make a right turn.
No, I signaled to
You
make a
went
right
to
turn.
make a right turn.
Yes.
And you were not in the far right lane.
No.
Right. You got out of the car. You went over to this gentleman. You signed a piece of paper indicating that you were prepared to pay for the damage. Right?
Yes. I had not even had the car a day, okay? And yes, I was nervous because I did not have insurance. And yes, I was nervous.
You didn't have
because
insurance?
I didn't have insurance, and I didn't have a driver's license.
That's right.
Okay, so I really was nervous.
So you didn't want, listen to me.
So I didn't want trouble with the police department.
That's
But
right.
not only that, he got personal with me. He asked me, was I gay, okay? And I responded, no, he was coming on to me at the time. And I played with the party too. Yes, I'm married, but of course I'm gonna play into it because I didn't want the police. And I felt if he thought I was gay, then maybe he liked me. It's obvious, he's Nelly.
Okay. Mr. Bull. Now he
this
comes,
is true.
I want you to stop talking. Listen to me. I'm going to ask questions. You're going to answer them. He came to your salon. Now, he got to Viha, the Armenian, through you. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm being totally honest. I was nervous. That's the only reason I signed this paper. I did not want to go to jail. Okay? My wife told me, listen, this guy is at fault. He's in our business, and he's screaming irate loud. He's from New York. He's obnoxious. It's obvious he's obnoxious. Look at him. Okay? He calls on my phone repeatedly. He tells me about his house caught on fire, how his kids are hungry. He needs his van to transport his kids, all this irrelevant stuff, while I have very important clients that are there. In fact, my wife is here. It's proof that I had a client that sit there in the chair when I disputed with him for 20 minutes in my business, screaming because he has no patience and he acts immature. He screamed, and I lost the client. She requested her $150 deposit back for, the services that were being rendered, her hair extension. I am a popular hairstylist, and only thing I ever stated to this man is that when you want to speak to me, you do not call me at home and you make an appointment like everybody else.
Is that what is? Just
Yes.
a minute. Have we now completed your side of the story?
No, I have one more thing to say.
I'm ready to hear you, sir.
Your Honor, again, yes, I admit that my driver's license had expired. But again, from the way my car was hit, he said I hit him, it's obvious he hit me. From the way
That's really not urgently important, sir. I'm going to tell you why. Mr. Farkas had the right at that time, because there was an accident, to pick up the phone and call the police to have them come to the accident.
But why didn't he?
Why? Because
I had.
No, because you had problems with your license too. I'm almost certain you did. You had some kind of problem.
You looked at my
Bull,
license and said,
Mr.
you know, you're a
Bull,
typical Gemini. That
you
was
probably-
his comment.
Mr. Bull, you, sir, had no insurance and did not want the police to come because you were also driving with a suspended license. He gave up the right to call the police, to have the police come and make a determination based upon, don't interrupt me, based upon what they saw, whose fault this accident was. You said to him at the time,
He never mentioned police.
I will take care of the damage, and you signed a piece of paper indicating you would take care of the damage.
I signed that paper again because I was nervous.
Well, I don't care whether you're
Anybody
nervous or
signs
not.
paper, I mean,
I'm
under
not,
pressure.
listen.
I mean,
I want
was
you to
nervous.
I want you to
Another
get
thing,
not nervous,
my
Mr.
personal
Bull.
lifestyle had nothing to do with this case whatsoever. And for him to mention those things about my personal, I think that it was very irrelevant. And it's obvious that, again, from the way the position my car was hit, that it was his fault. But of course, he's not going to admit it.
Okay.
Your Honor, I was doing.
And you did real
I
good.
was doing the man a favor.
Doing me a
he's
favor.
telling me
Mr.
about his
Farkas.
wife
Doing me a
problems.
favor.
Telling me about the two-timing boyfriend. I mean, the man's got, you know, his sexual conflicts. He's a menace on the road.
Mr. Farkas, Mr. Farkas.
I'm sorry. What the hell's so funny?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're a
Mr.
joke.
Farkas, you paid the $1,800 to have your
I
car
did.
fixed? Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,800. The defendant's counterclaim for harassment and all sorts of other things is dismissed.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Judge.
Is our excuse, you may step out.
But you were very smart about getting those papers, because that's the only reason why you won this case. But other than that, she would have looked at it for my way. And another,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
think it's because you're blonde and blue-eyed.
I am absolutely convinced that Mr. Bull had his name shortened.